Welcome to today's webinar, Modernize Security and Consolidate Costs, How to Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. My name is Bill Gardner. I'm the Director of Technical Marketing at Awake. And joining me today is Eric DeShetler, Senior Customer Engineer at Awake. Today we'll be discussing and demonstrating the following topics that are top of mind for most security practitioners. The need for a general framework for understanding the costs and benefits of your current capabilities. Key innovations that reduce costs and relieve staff of complex tasks while increasing their effectiveness. And finally, how you can increase the skills across your team needed to counter today's security challenges. Awake Security is a leader in network detection and response technology and has been recognized by leading customers, analysts, and industry publications for developing an entirely new way to secure your organization and overcome the toughest security challenges. When evaluating and assessing the costs and benefits of your existing defenses, it's important to remember that the measure of success is not the number of tools, reports, and activities the security team is generating, but rather the results your organization is seeing in terms of less disruption and costs associated with cyber attacks. While subscriptions and platform costs are the most obvious item to look at, the increased risk of a breach and operational and lost opportunity costs are really the key factors to examine. If your team is bogged down in routine management tasks and irrelevant alerts, the organization is unable to realize the full benefits of your investment. Time is the single most precious resource owned by the security team. Ensuring that the team's time is spent where it matters most should be the focus of all security professionals. Routinely evaluating the benefits that the team receives from their existing tools and staying abreast of developments in the industry is the best way to stay focused on the ultimate goal, which is defending the organization from attack. So what's driving the need to modernize your defenses at this point in time? Developments in the IT industry are really moving at a breathtaking pace. The new network represents some key security challenges that really do make you more vulnerable today. Unmanaged devices make up more than 50% of networks. These are things like BYOD laptops and phones, IoT devices, and operational technology systems, none of which can run security agents. Malware-free attacks have passed 50% of attacks observed in the last couple of years. Malware-less attacks do not rely on infected files or email attachments, but use techniques like credential abuse or phishing to gain a foothold in your network. While encryption is great for privacy, encrypted attacks have leveraged the trend towards ubiquitous encryption to bypass most of the network defenses we've relied on in the past. When you factor these developments together, you can understand why organizations are experiencing higher security costs, lower visibility, and more impact from every incident due to higher dwell time. Organizations struggle to deploy and master a wide range of legacy tools to try and solve these problems. Let me give you an example. One of the latest techniques Awake has observed in their customer base uses unregistered Chrome extensions to compromise endpoints and provide a beachhead into an organization for further malicious activities. These extensions often use fileless Java or other scripting languages in the initial compromise, which bypass traditional antivirus or sandbox defenses. Such attacks are delivered from trustworthy sites that have either been compromised or fallen victim to malvertising feeds, and they use HTTPS to encrypt the traffic, which defeats legacy intrusion prevention systems and web gateways. It's no wonder then that despite increases in security budgets over the last few years, security teams have failed to stem the tides of the attacks. So let's look at the traditional point product approach. Attacks have evolved incrementally over time to counter the defenses that were developed along each step of the way. Organizations now struggle with a mass of unrelated and non-standardized tools. Surveys have determined that the typical enterprise uses more than 75 separate security products. These tools often require tremendous expertise and hundreds of hours of intense manual effort using spreadsheets or other homegrown tools to correlate and make sense from the blizzard of alerts generated. For instance, early forensic tools such as those from NetWitness or Symantec, were focused on gathering log data and using manually generated search strings to look for indications of malware after the attack succeeded. Threat hunting solutions such as Corelight and Exabeam have used open source Bro logs to search for IOCs or patterns in layer 4 connection data. And early efforts in network traffic analysis from vendors such as ExtraHop, Vectra, or Darktrace focused on connection anomaly detection using simple unsupervised machine learning. All these early efforts suffered from intensely manual analysis processes and an overwhelming level of false positives or irrelevant alerts. Awake has developed a new integrated solution which modernizes, consolidates, and leverages legacy tools to deliver capabilities the industry just hasn't seen before. Awake is designed to address the key weaknesses of earlier point products, namely introducing autonomous processes, which cut down on the amount of time-consuming work required, and a huge reduction in noisy alerts. In light of the success attackers have found in bypassing traditional defenses, Awake's new approach takes current tactics and techniques into account. All attacks have the goal of disrupting operations, stealing data, or holding victims hostage until the attacker's demands are met. So rather than focus on detecting each and every piece of malicious code or hostile website, Awake focuses on detecting malicious intent. That's often masked in the avalanche of data seen on the typical network. Awake has developed several key proprietary technologies that work together to deliver a new level of modern security and enables the organization to consolidate their point products while increasing effectiveness and efficiency. On the forensics front, Awake's Entity IQ is the world's only AI-based visibility and analytics system that identifies, profiles, and tracks all the devices, users, applications, and activities with just a simple network connection. No complex log integrations or problematic agents are required to deliver superior forensics capabilities and visibility in IoT, BYOD, and traditional network devices. Awake avoids unreliable log analysis techniques and provides an integrated suite of tools which work directly with the network traffic, which is the ultimate source of truth. Adversarial modeling is an industry-first capability that uses heuristics with Entity IQ to proactively hunt for threats and to identify attackers based on their intent. By understanding malintent versus looking for only specific indicators of compromise, Awake revolutionizes the ability to see and stop attackers, especially those that are living off the land. Legacy threat hunting products still rely on IOCs, which vary in quality and have very short shelf lives. And finally, we'll be looking at the capabilities of AAVE. AAVE is the world's first security expert system that enables autonomous detection, triage, and investigations, and delivers on the promise of network detection and response. AAVE uses federated machine learning, open source intelligence, and human expertise to deliver these capabilities automatically and continuously. First-generation NDR solutions rely heavily on anomaly detection, coupled with traditional IOCs and blacklists, which are prone to both false positives and can be easily bypassed or avoided by attackers. Awake's unique blend of proprietary technologies combines and improves on these other techniques, while including new breakthroughs which independent tests show provide much better results. The Awake platform has proven itself in the field and has delivered on the vision for a different approach to security. Numerous customers have publicly commented on the benefits of the Awake platform and the improvements it's made to their security team's efforts. For instance, the CSO of a technology company in San Francisco found that Awake was able to do away with his need to hire a top-level analyst, which offset the cost of Awake in just a few months. A senior analyst at one of our customers found that Awake's logless approach to data access and autonomous integrated analytics allow them to focus on higher priority tasks rather than slogging through their legacy incident response playbook. So now we're going to take a look at the Awake platform in action using the workflows tuned to the needs of the security operator. We're going to focus on 4 areas. The Awake dashboard, which delivers a modular, customizable view in the high-level status of the network. Fully interactive with drill downs into the information you need to detect, validate, and respond to the latest challenges. Awake's dashboards deliver full visibility and risk-based situational awareness for all devices, both on and beyond the network. Awake situations go beyond alerts to deliver complete, autonomous situational awareness across the kill chain. Situations harness the AAVE expert system, which improves efficiency and guides the operator with autonomously generated data points and prescriptive coaching. Working with AAVE provides operators with an ongoing education on how attacks work and how they can increase their understanding and effectiveness as defenders. Entity IQ and the Workbench is the heart of the Awake platform and delivers a suite of integrated tools that eliminate the need for many of the point products typically deployed within the SOC. The Workbench delivers results that have not been available from any tools in the past. And finally, the adversarial modeling language represents a breakthrough in detecting and hunting threat activities. The AMO goes beyond searching for simple IOCs and provides the ability to detect malicious intent, no matter what the mechanism used. The AML provides a unique, modular, and guided approach to threat hunting, which is a first in the industry. Operators at all levels of experience can now perform hunts that were restricted to just a few expert practitioners in the past. And any hunt created with the AML can instantly be added to the system to provide not only a standardized institutional hunting knowledge base, but to automatically expand the range of threats that are autonomously monitored by Awake. So Eric, let's get started with the demo. I'm going to go ahead and pass control to Eric.
All right, thank you, William. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so I'm logged into our demo system. From here, we can see the dashboards. So like Bill mentioned, these are modular, they're customizable. Right, so from this particular dashboard, I can open up a pivot table. I can drill down into any type of device that I'm interested in. Let's say high-risk devices that are with an OS that's undetermined, like Polycom phones. And I can customize this dashboard as well. All right, so if I want to change the settings here or filters, I can do that. Now, these dashboards are going to give me full situational awareness of my environment based off of risk, based off of the techniques that are being used, right? Here's the adversarial models being used, based off of the situations or incidents that I'm tracking, and based off of other factors such as, suspect domains. Again, these can be customized. You can create your own dashboards, right? And, you can really set this up to kind of suit your needs. All right, so let's take a look at situations. Situations is a way to track incidents that go far beyond what you're used to doing with alerts. One of the benefits of situations is that we bring in automated analysis to your own incident triage and analysis. So what that means is that if you investigate traffic that maybe looks malicious, AAVE will actually go and find additional stages of the attack and bring that into your investigation for you. All right, so as an example, if you suspect that you see a C2 domain, right, AAVE will go back and look over 2 weeks of traffic to find signs of exfiltration, lateral movement, or even initial access domains that were first seen around the time that C2 started. It will also expand the scope of your attack, bringing in other systems that might also be infected. All right, and all of this happens automatically. You don't have to actually do the investigation yourself. Right, AAVE is going to bring those in, and if for any reason you decide that you don't want, that particular domain or artifact to be included in this investigation, you still have complete control. You can mark it as unrelated, and you can review an audit log of everything that happened automatically as well. All right, so in my experience, this has been saving me hours and hours of time for each investigation that normally would require a lot of manual work. All right, so from the investigation, from the situation, we can actually get down to the Workbench, where we can really do kind of a deep dive on what we're seeing here. All right, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and look into this lateral movement. Right, this is the second stage of this attack. I want to review that and kind of see how we detected that. So I'm going to click on View Artifact Details. This takes me to the Workbench. All right, so now the Workbench is where you have access to capabilities and tools that have just not been available in the past. You know, this would require complex scripting and lots of time to really do what we do in this Workbench. In this case, I'm looking at one activity. All right, so now this is lateral movement. Right, we can see here that the source system is connecting to another system on the network, moving laterally. All right, so we can see all of the metadata that we need to really understand what's going on here. Right, the client system, the destination system, all of the activity from layers 7 all the way down to layer 2, right, is available for us to not only use in our analysis, but also pivot our search based off of this information. All right, so now if I wanted to quickly see what was happening, you know, before and after this event, I can go ahead and expand my scope here. So I've just added in, you know, all of the activity plus or minus 1 minute, and this gives me a very good view of kind of what's happening in the environment. If I from this system, if I need to, you know, increase that time frame, I can zoom out. All right, and now if I want to filter what I'm looking at, I can actually use any of these pivots, right, to filter like what I'm actually focused on. I can also pivot from activities, right, which shows me what happened, to domains, which shows me, you know, where did it go, right, or to the actual internal devices, really, which is the who, you know, what's going on here. Now, when I talk about, you know, capabilities that have not been available in the past, I want to show you just something that we call feature summaries. Now, you know, William mentioned that we have a modeling language. We call it AML, stands for Adversarial Modeling Language. Right, but you don't actually have to know the language and how to write scripts in order to use that language. You can actually do everything visually here. All right, so now if I want to drill down on some traffic, right now I'm looking at a particular device. Say I wanted to focus on certain domain categories. All right, so maybe uncategorized, you know, computer and internet security, and potentially park sites. If I want to add that to my query, I can do so very easily. Right, and now I can run that. And if I want to save this now as a new model, all right, maybe I want to continue, you know, monitoring for this in the future, I can hit the save button and save the skill. All right, so now if I'm, you know, maybe I'm a senior investigator, I want to open up this this hunt up to other junior analysts and make sure that they have the ability to see the traffic and react to it when it happens. I can now save this as a skill. The system will hunt for this autonomously, and it will show up in the dashboards whenever traffic is matching that. All right, now one of the biggest problems with you know, doing triage and incident response is just really, you know, getting all of the context that you need in order to make a decision. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this device. This is, we call this device sys3099-W7. Now, we're taking these usernames and device names off of the network, right? It does not require an integration into Active Directory or anything like that. We're pulling this information right out of packets. Awake does do full packet capture, and we extract metadata from those packets, so all of that is available right here. This is what we call the NTIQ device profile. So we're tracking every single device, and we can, from here, we can really see all of the context for this device. I can take action and, you know, block this device if I want to, using my EDR integration. Right, I can see all of the threats for this device. One unique benefit to tracking devices as opposed to just tracking IP addresses, which is what you see with most network-based security tools, is that, you know, as this device moves around your network, we're going to track all of its IP addresses that it uses, okay? And doesn't matter if it picks up 10 different IP addresses over the course of a few months, or if this device goes off the network, comes back in a few months, we'll still track it as the same device. I can tag the device. I can export the packet capture from this device if I want to get down into the packet details. But I can also see all of the threats here. These threat cards are kind of listed out in order from, you know, newest threats are at the top, older threats are at the bottom. And if I click on these, it actually takes me right back to the Workbench. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our adversarial modeling language. When it comes to really finding the hard to find threats and advanced attackers, we have to go beyond just a signature-based or IOC-based approach. Right, most IOCs and signatures are pretty much abandoned once they're detected. Right, so what we have to do is we have to have a way to model tactics and techniques. And that's what the adversarial modeling language gives you, right? So we can model all of the attacker behaviors. We can do a much better job of this than what you've seen because of the amount of metadata that we actually extract from packet captures. All right, so now a lot of these techniques that you can use in adversarial modeling, in our adversarial modeling language, they were restricted to just, really expert threat hunters in the past, right? Who knew how to look for, for example, unusual TLS ciphers that were being used on the network, right, which could be a sign of malware, or how to hunt for IoT devices, Tor exfiltration, and exfiltration out to domains that maybe have no threat reputation, but are rare in your environment. So with the Awake platform, we ship a couple hundred models out of the box, right, that are used for autonomous threat hunting. You can add to these models, you can create your own, but out of the box, we're shipping just about 200 models right now. We curate this content. They're very high fidelity, excellent detections that go far beyond IOCs and signatures. Right, so it's easy for an attacker to change their IOC or their signature or even the domains that they use, but it's very tough for them to change their techniques. And so that's kind of what the power of our adversarial modeling language brings to you. All right, so Bill, I'll go ahead and stop there, and I think we're open for questions at this point.
Yeah, great, Eric. I certainly appreciate that. Hang on a second. Let me go back over to bring up the slide deck here just to keep us on track. And there we go. Great. So yes, indeed, we do have time for a few questions here today. And so hopefully we can take a look and see exactly what we would like to hear from the audience. And so, okay, I see a question here, first question. And so it's saying, are you saying that Awake can replace all of our current security products? So let me take a shot at that. And no, of course not. There's no silver bullet in security. Awake doesn't claim to be a silver bullet. And of course, as you saw, we also leverage and add value to other existing products, such as EDR, where that is effective. So, there's still a need for passive security measures, firewalls, identity and access management systems, endpoint agents, again, like EDR, where they can be used, still have a role to play and can be a very valuable tool to the analyst and to the operator. What we're really saying here is that each organization needs to constantly assess the benefits and costs of their current tools and move to update and consolidate them where it makes sense for that organization. So yeah, no silver bullet here, but certainly 75 tools may be well over the top in terms of, are you actually getting value from all of those investments that you've made? So let me look back through and let's see. There we go. Here's a question. Will I have to write my own Awake models before the system can detect anything? What if I'm not sure what needs to go into a model? And, as Eric had just touched on, the product ships with more than 200 different models integral to the system. Not only that, but those models can be updated continuously from the Awake cloud if you desire. And so that ensures that you always get the latest and greatest insights from the Awake research team, which is truly one of the best in the business. And so we have that dynamic library of models. Really, again, the true power of this language is that it enables an experienced analyst to easily transform their skills into models that automate the skills for less experienced analysts. And again, I think that, Eric did a fine job kind of going through and showing you exactly how that works. So if your organization lacks any experienced analysts to kind of blaze the trail and lead the way, Awake offers a managed service that will work directly with the team to make sure that you get the full benefits of the technology and, of course, the benefits of those experienced analysts in our managed service. So let me take a look here and see what else we got going. Let's see. So yeah, here's a question. In terms of our existing products, best of breed typically trumps the integrated solutions. Why should we take a look at integrating and consolidating our existing tools? That's a great question. And of course, again, it kind of depends on where you are at in terms of the technology curve for any type of security technology that's out there. So, for instance, when a new threat emerges, typically you see, innovative startups jump into the fray, come up with a new way of actually countering those threats and releasing those products as best of breed. Now, as the industry matures and better understanding is gathered by everybody in the industry about these new techniques that have been introduced, then of course typically what you'll find is that those standalone best of breed products do eventually become absorbed into an existing technology. Certainly, the existing technology has a lot to do in terms of providing efficiency and really cutting down on that time that we talked about earlier in the presentation, where a lot of organizations can spend literally hundreds of hours with spreadsheets and other home-baked systems trying to integrate and make sense of all of these different types of tools and techniques. So, as I say, it can be, a real challenge for people as these older tools continue to persist and exist in the organization. So certainly you have to kind of go back to that framework we were looking at. You have to continuously evaluate, are these tools doing the job for me? Am I getting more efficient? Am I able to block more attacks? Or am I going somewhat backwards, in which case then perhaps it's time to move on from those earlier best of breed and look at an integrated approach to some of these problems that come out there. So, when we, let me take a look and see if we have any other questions. It looks like we're coming up to our time stop as well. Again, if anybody has any additional questions, we would encourage you to, type them into the chat window here. Even if we haven't been able to get to your questions today, we will certainly go through and reach out to you directly and be able to get you the answers to the questions that you have. So, let me just kind of summarize where we've been today. The framework for measuring the costs and benefits of a legacy security must be focused on, what are the results in decreasing the security-related damages to your organization, and are you able to adapt to the latest risks? Again, this is a process. It shouldn't be a goal. You should be looking at your results and your tools and, the training and experience of your team on an ongoing basis. Secondly, the current threat environment has reached a point where traditional approaches to cyber defenses are failing at an increasing rate. Even with the huge investments in tools and in staffing, we're still seeing that organizations are being breached on a regular, and it seems to be ever expanding basis. And Awake Security is delivering better results at a lower cost, enabling the consolidation of a lot of these legacy products and tools that are really in use by most organizations today. And then finally, the Awake platform really does enable your security team to increase their security skills just by using the capabilities of the solution in the normal course of their duties. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending today. If you'd like to share or view the recordings of Awake's series of webinars. They're available on Awake's YouTube channel. You could also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter for more of our insights. We look forward to seeing you at the next Awake Security webinar, and please visit us at awakesecurity.com/webinars.